What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different and ranking all win conditions inside the game. Now these win conditions are based on my opinion, and to me there are cards that directly target towers, or you play them onto the tower to win the game. So things like Musketeer wouldn't count by itself, but 3 Musketeers would. And Miner, although it isn't a building targeting card, it can be played onto the tower and paired with cards like Poison or Bats to get that tower damage. So we'll start out at the top here, starting out with the Ram Rider. She, in my opinion, is currently the most OP win rate inside the game. And now I know she's legendary and she should be very good, but she has just under a 50% win rate according to Royal API and only a 5% use rate. But if you compare her on top ladder, she has a lot higher use rate, especially above like the 6k mark in the game. And another note, Ram Rider is also a very good counter to the win conditions like the Hog Rider. She can perfectly counter it. Balloon, if it's played onto your tower, even in a Rage of a Lumberjack, it completely, the snare effect can just hold them still, buy your tower's time to shut it down. So that's why she's ranked higher than the other cards in this deck. So moving down the list on to Lava Hound. I think she's had a very high win rate. I believe it is 55%. I'll just double check here. Yeah, 55% win rate, and that has increased over the last 14 days. And she has almost a 10% use rate as well, which again, I think that is a pretty solid card to be using in a meta, especially if you've got it leveled up. So, on to Golem. This card is probably the most stable archetype, especially if you like a good, strong beatdown deck. This card has a 45% win rate and only a 6% use rate, but they have increased as well. The P.E.K.K.A nerf, or the P.E.K.K.A nerf, didn't really affect the game at all. Golem use rates maybe did drop, but it has started to increase again. Get the card to the tower and you're going to deal an easy 600-700 damage just from getting it to the tower, and that's not including your support troops either. So moving on to Goblin Barrel. Goblin Barrel, in my opinion, has been a good win condition in bait for a long time. It's a card where you can punish your opponent if you can successfully bait out Log, but over the last a few weeks with the Snowball nerf and a Barbarian Barrel nerf, Log has come back into the meta, which is a slight nerf for this card, which is why I've moved it from strong down to good. So, Graveyard. This is my favourite win condition in a game. It's the archetype that I believe that I'm best with, and I've reached some highest trophies with it. It does have a 53% win rate, which is why I've put it in good, but I think there's a lot of counters out there with the Princess. She can counter if you play behind a tower. There's a Valkyrie, although she did get nerfed, but then there's Poison, which is a super hard counter to Graveyard. And it's just, unfortunately, nearly every time they add a new card, it's a good counter to Graveyard. So, Royal Hawks. I debated between putting this in strong and in good, but I think because of the Mega Knight coming back into the meta, a lot more building cards, especially Goblin Cage, you can kite. Unfortunately, they have dropped down 1, but if I can just find them on here, they have a 56% win rate, which is huge, and they have a 10% use rate, which has dropped down from 15, so still a fairly good viable card, and it is fairly free to play friendly. So, Miner. Discussed this card at the start of the video. It is ranked number 17 across a whole game on the most used cards, has a 20% use rate and a 52% win rate. So I would say it is a fairly high skill card, which is why I've put it in good and not strong, because you need to make sure you're switching up your miner placements on the tower, especially if you're against a good opponent or they have a lot of cards which you can use to catch your miner, like the, I don't know, Knight, Valkyrie, things like that. And also Tornado, if they activate, you're screwed basically. So moving down into the win conditions, which I believe are fairly balanced in the game. So I would rank Hog at the bottom of the balanced list. I think with the Tornado, the buildings, especially Goblin Cage's use rate at the moment, it's just unfortunate is a hard counter, and a P.E.K.K.A range as well can stop the Hog from connecting to your tower and provide the opponent with a huge counter push. But Hog does synergise very well with the Mortar, so you may have seen my free-to-play friendly deck which I shared. I'll leave that link in the description below. But this card I think has been used a lot more defensively in the meta, especially with cards like the Hog Rider, rather than being an offensive like Mortar Miner, which we maybe saw a couple of months ago. Balloon, again, since Lumberjack's nerf, I think Balloon use rate has dropped, which is why this card is imbalanced instead of good. Just so you know, the Lumberjack's win rate is only 43% and its use rate has dropped by 4% down to 10% over the last 2 weeks. So unfortunately for Balloon, I think it probably lost its best partner in the meta, the Lumberjack, so it's maybe only good in Lava Hound decks. So moving on to the Expo. Now Expo 2.9, Icepo and Expo Pump are 3 stable archetypes in the meta right now, which are completely dominating some of the higher level gameplay. KFC Clash was currently on CWA and he is also pushing with the 2.9 Expo at the moment, so that just shows you can draw most matchups. I think it's a balanced card. Golem, P.E.K.K.A, Royal Giant, Mega Knight, they're all unfortunate counters to this card, but a good player can beat almost any deck with this card. Battle Ram. I was debating whether to put this card in. I do think it is a win condition, although maybe a soft win condition, a bit like the Miner is. But it does 500 damage if you get it to connect to the opponent's tower. It's a good card to use to pressure the opponent, especially in Bridge Spam decks. I do think that the Ram Rider or Dark Prince has slightly taken over from the Battle Ram. Let's just find the Dark Prince. So Dark Prince has a 25% use rate, so this card is currently being used a lot more. But if you want a more free-to-play friendly version in Bridge Spam, Battle Ram is the way to go. If you are paid to win, then definitely Dark Prince. So Royal Giant, the dirtiest of dirty cards out there. I've ranked this card towards the top because lower level arenas like 3k trophies up to 5k trophies, you're going to face this card a lot more. I've seen it on the top ladder sometimes. I think it did finish inside the top 200 last season as well, if I believe. But for 6 Elixir, you can, especially since its rework a few months ago, you can play it in the back, build up some support units behind it, get back to a second RG as it reaches a bridge, and you're guaranteed to take almost half of the tower, if not all the tower. So, moving down the list to... Did we do Giant? No. So Giant. I think this card works well with Prince, especially with Dark Prince being so strong, and also the dragons in the meta as well. And they've seen a lot of Giant Graveyard. These Viper Slug at the moment, currently inside the top 200 using Giant Graveyard Freeze. That's an interesting synergy between those 3 cards, but definitely check her out. I'll leave her description and a link below for you to go subscribe to her channel. So, the weak cards, the cards that I think potentially need a buff or a rework, but unfortunately I don't think we're going to get it from 3 Musketeers. 3 Musketeers, you know, they increased up to 10 Elixir and its use rate was about 1% when it was, and then they added the 3-second drop time and the reduced it back to 9 Elixir. But unfortunately, Tornado is still in the meta. It has a 47% win rate and a 13% use rate, so you can just kite them into the same lane, you can poison them, you can fireball them, and that's that. It is used a lot with the Elixir Collector, so you can bait out those spells, but I don't think this card is going to be inside the top 200 or winning number 1 in this season anytime soon. So finally, the Skeleton Barrel. This card has come back slightly in recent weeks with the Mega Knight Skeleton bait deck, but unfortunately, I think it's a soft win condition as well. It's not a hard win condition, but if the opponent misses it, which is quite likely because of the slight delayed drop time, especially with Clone in the meta as well, this card, I've seen it going around, Giant Skeleton with this card synergy is very strong. So, but it is weak, unfortunately. It only works in a certain deck. But I'm going to move up to balanced. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Here's the list again. If you disagree or think I've missed a win condition at all, let me know in the description below. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. This is Griff, signing off. Peace.